Hey guys, Varanice here with the new 2.7 patch notes. This will be the primary update for the upcoming Season 15. So let's get into it. Up first, we've got a new chess piece. We've got Redfox Swordsman. Redfox Swordsman is a 4 gold epic unit and is a beast assassin. His ultimate is Fox Riken, and he rolls toward a random enemy unit and thrusts 3, 4, 5 times in the direction of the target. Each thrust is treated as a normal attack with additional 30, 40, 50 physical damage, and it pierces ability immunity. It says that it's treated as a normal attack, so this makes me think that it will function similarly to how Cannon Granny ult works currently. So I'm expecting that this will probably proc items such as Cleave and Oblivion and have a chance to crit. So that should be pretty cool. Its cooldown is 10-8-6. So yeah, I'm interested to see how this gets used in potentially like 6 Beast or different assassin comps. Next, we've got Shining Assassin Rework. So Shining Assassin was a 4 gold unit. Now it is a 5 gold legendary. It's still a feathered assassin, and it retains its same activated ability. Summons a long-lasting wind field, increasing 40, 60, 80 attack and gaining damage immunity for 5, 7, 9 times. I don't know if they changed the numbers on this spell. It sounds very similar. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's close enough. It's different. She's also gained a passive. Her passive turns normal attacks into a 2 grid wide wind blade that penetrates 6 grids behind, dealing 50, 75, 100 pure damage to enemy units in the area. So this is reminding me of how Monkey Slam works. So this sounds like it'll do a ton of damage, considering it's pure damage. So if you get this 2-starred, she's dealing nearly full damage, pure damage in a straight line through the whole board, which seems pretty good considering Monkey only gets to do that every 2nd or 3rd auto attack. This doesn't have a stun on it, but I could see this doing some absolutely insane amounts of damage. I'm interested to see if this works with Splitter. If this works with Splitter, this could get truly ridiculous. So we'll have to see what compositions and things people are able to come up with this, but this looks pretty exciting. I'm interested in trying this out once the patch goes up. Next, we've got some item changes. Our first item is Bloody Club. Bloody Club is a new item that is being added in this patch. It's combined and made with Frantic Mask and Ghost Blade. Frantic Mask is getting changed as well, but I'll get into that later. But Bloody Club has 40 attack, 15% lifesteal, and the carrier gets 1% base attack lifesteal for every 3% health loss. So when your unit's down to 10% health, it'll have an additional 30% lifesteal. So 45% lifesteal off of one item when you're pretty low. Seems pretty good. This is a legendary item though, so you won't be able to get access to this for quite a while into the game. Our next item is Bloodbath Skull, which was previously called Infused Mask. This item is being made still from Frantic and Wraith Shard. It increases your attack speed by 40% and gives a base attack lifesteal of 15% and normal attacks reduce target's armor by 8 for 5 seconds. I believe this is pretty similar to what this item does already. I think they reduced the attack speed on it slightly. I'm pretty sure this item has 50% in the current patch. But yeah. This is a really, really good item. It's one of the best items in the game, so if they did nerf the attack speed slightly, then that was probably fine. Our next item is Mania. Mania is the renamed item Dragonbone Ballista, and I believe it was slightly changed as well. This item is now going to be built from Crystal Sword plus Wraith Shard, which is interesting because it means that it'll be conflicting with the Bloodbath skull we just talked about and things like Barbaric Cuirass. So it increases attack by 40, gives 20% attack speed, and the carrier is a 20% chance to crit for 200% damage. And then the new effect is the carrier's critical attack increases by 10% for 5 seconds. Increases the attack speed by 10% for 5 seconds, and this stacks. So that seems pretty good. I think this will be pretty good on assassins, considering they already have a crit chance. Obviously, I think this item is really designed to be used on like units like Shadowcrawler, because she also has an inherent passive chance to crit. So with this item and that, you could be attacking incredibly quickly, potentially. And then our next reworked item is Frantic Mask. Frantic Mask is now going to be made out of 2 masks, and it increases the base attack lifesteal by 15%, and then reduces normal attack armor by 3 for 5 seconds. So it's going to get a partial of the effect that's already on Bloodbath Skull now. So it looks like Bloody Club gains 40 attack over Frantic, and then the lifesteal effect from adding the Ghost Blade. The Infused gains a lot of attack speed from the Wraith Shard, and then it gains some amount of the Armor Shred. So that'll be interesting. It looks like they're trying to make it more difficult to get raw attack speed, because people used to just stack Frantic for the attack speed and the lifesteal, and that's going to be more difficult to do now. So I think they're maybe trying to encourage people to build Glacial if they want that, or maybe they just don't want units attacking as quickly. Not really quite sure, but it's an interesting change nonetheless. Our next item is Crimson Heart. Crimson Heart has a chance to proc to deal 150 physical damage to enemy units within 2 grids. This is going from 25 to 35%. I believe they just buffed this to 25 from like 20 in the patch a couple weeks ago, so this has nearly had a doubled chance to proc in the last couple of weeks. I think we should expect to see people start to build this item more, because this is a very, very significant change. It's nearly, what, like a 40% increase over the current value? Pretty significant. Next we've got Kira's Wrath. Kira's Wrath is having the pure damage per second dealt to the unit with this equipped from 4 to 3%. I guess this makes it easier to lifesteal to trade off this health. I don't think this is a huge change, but I guess if the fight goes really long and you have a Kira unit, your Kira unit's gonna have like a few hundred more health. So I guess it's a little bit more likely you'll win in a long fight. So next we got some balance changes. Some changes coming to Horn. Horn Totem is losing a third of its health. It will now have health equal to 2 times the number of units that are in play instead of 3. So that seems pretty reasonable. It was a little sad to see your carry just get absolutely walled out by the Taunt Totem for an absurd amount of time sometimes. So I think this is probably a reasonable change. Sunchaser Totem is still doing the same thing, but the disarm is going to last 1 second less now, which is probably reasonable. It seems in line with what they're changing with the Taunt Totem. Next we've got changes to 9 Warrior. 9 Warrior is gaining an additional 2 armor. I think this is a pretty significant change, actually. 9 Warrior has been slightly tweaked between 16 armor and 20 armor throughout the history of the game, and it's always been a really strong build when it's been at 20 armor. So I'm suspecting that this change could help 9 Warrior go from kind of like a niche high roll build to something that's a bit more viable in the meta, but we'll have to see. It's still probably going to struggle against magical builds. Next, we've got a couple of chess piece changes. Taboo Witcher is getting an additional 50, 100, 200 health. This seems pretty reasonable. I think Taboo's one of the best one-cost pieces, just by a gold efficiency ratio. It kind of does quite a lot for only 1 or 3 gold on your board. But it is one of the squishiest units in the entire game, so it's probably reasonable to give it a little bit extra health or armor or something. So I think I like this change. And then Lord of Sand is having Beast removed from it. I'm assuming this is coming because Redfox Swordsman is gaining, putting another Beast synergy into the game, so they're probably changing this to try to not make 6 Beasts too consistent, having another Beast that they're able to hit. And then our next update, we've got the new 4v4 mode is coming to Auto Chess with Ranked added to it. I don't want to go into too much detail on this because it's a little bit complicated, and it would probably be easier to just show how this worked with gameplay, but there's a couple of interesting new features that are coming to it. So they've previewed that there's a way that your team will be offered items, and there's some kind of way that you can allocate items that you get offered to specific team members, which sounds kind of interesting. So you could have your different teammates cover like physical attack builds or range builds or magic builds and try to have some way of allocating items to some degree to your teammates. That sounds pretty neat. There's a new mechanic that they've also previewed that they're calling Duel, where at certain points in the game you're going to be able to explicitly pick who your teammates are playing against on the enemy team, which should add a lot of interesting strategy and a bit more determinism and remove a little bit of the RNG of the combat ordering on each round. And then they're also changing it so that instead of the regular system, when a player dies, the item gets randomly distributed throughout the lobby. The items will instead be distributed to their teammates and the person that eliminates them. So instead of going to 7 people in the lobby, they'll only go to those 4 people or less. And then we've got a couple of small optimizations and changes in this patch as well. I looked through this briefly. I didn't see anything terribly exciting in here, but it's always good to see them constantly making the game run a bit better and fixing bugs. So yeah, let me know in the comments down below what you guys thought about the new changes. Let me know if you're excited to try out the new pieces, the Redfox Swordsman or the Reworked Shining Assassin, or maybe you're excited to try out the new 4v4 game mode. What do you think about the balance changes? But yeah, if you enjoyed this video and want to support English auto chess content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Later, guys.